Legendary Pokemon, the mightiest and some of the most influential Pokemon in the franchise. Every generation has them, and since Gen 2, each set of games has their own box legends. With Devhar, my Pokemon region based on India, Nepal, and parts of the surrounding area, this is no different. Hey everyone, Brandon here. The lore of the box legendaries for the purely conceptual games Pokemon Jade and Pokemon Jasper would be explored in the Uncovering the Ancient storyline. One of 3 you can choose to explore, just like Scarlet and Violet had, with the other 2 storylines being called Victory Road, which would be the traditional storyline of the Gyms and Elite Four, with the added twist of trying to pass the trainer qualification exam, and the last storyline is called Fighting Fate, in which you would uncover more of the mystery surrounding the evil Team Fate. Back to the legends though, you would accompany your rival Parina, the fairy tale chaser who we met in a previous video, to various temples throughout Devhar, battling mighty boss Pokemon to gain entry, and occasionally bumping into Professor Banyan, who is out researching the Spear Ice phenomenon. Slowly but surely you would put together the pieces of the lore behind the legends and their locations, battling members of Team Fate along the way, all the while learning about and helping realize Parina's dream. But in the last temple, after defeating the boss Pokemon,
that Pangrud sure was tough. I didn't know if Chromantic was gonna hold out. That has got to be one of the weirder Spear Eyes forms I've seen. Thank you so much for your help. With this, maybe I am worthy enough to take over for my mom as the Fairy-type Elite Four member. But we finally have all the information about these legendary Pokemon. Let's put it all together.
In a distant time, there existed a mother who bore 2 children. The eldest possessed the remarkable gift of igniting an intense passion within both people and Pokemon who crossed their path. Meanwhile, the younger sibling could naturally bestow good luck to others and Pokemon around them. As they grew older, with the support and encouragement of their mother, their talents grew stronger, and they began to be worshipped for their seemingly miraculous abilities. For a time, the siblings worked together to bring out the best in others, but that would not last long. They began to view their abilities as a hindrance to each other. The elder siblings' fiery passion burned within their worshippers, drying up any goodwill they had for the younger siblings' luck-centric ways, while the luck of the younger siblings doused any need for hard work within their own followers, drowning out the need for passion in exchange. As resentment grew between them, they separated from each other, and their worshippers with them. The mother pleaded with them and tried to remind them of the balance they once had, but both were convinced that they were right and left to start villages of their own. As years went by, in their solitude, they became even more angry with each other, to the point that the elder declared war between their towns. The war waged week after week, until it was just the 2 siblings left standing, in which they both met their end at each other's hand. The mother, left with the grief of losing both her children, turned to forces beyond herself in prayer. She begged for yet another miracle for both her children, and so, a miracle unfolded. The mother herself transformed into a Pokemon of legendary might. This newly created Pokemon resurrected their former children, using the souls of their fallen followers, which transformed them into Pokemon as well. The younger was revived first, becoming an emissary of water and beginnings. The elder was revived second, becoming an emissary of flame and endings. Not much is known about what happened immediately following these events, but these Pokemon still roam Devhar, known as Lisurga, the Balance Pokemon, Harasha, the Beginning Pokemon, and Macugan, the Ending Pokemon. Lisurga is said to be able to bring out the true power of Pokemon, just as the mother gave birth to the siblings and brought out the best in them. This is what we have labeled as the Spear Eyes phenomenon, making the Pokemon in this form strong against all types, but also weak against all types.
Whoa, who would have thought? People becoming Pokemon? I wonder how true this tale is, or how that would even work. Anyway, it looks like it says where we could find them.
Just as Parina said, the location of the legends would then be revealed to you. In Pokemon Jasper, you would find Harasha in the Temple of Beginnings to the far north, meant to emulate the Bajranath Temple found in the Indian state of Uttarakhand. This indomitable elephant, as its category suggests, is the legendary Pokemon of Beginnings. This water fairy type has the power to bring good luck and new beginnings to those it deems worthy. Just like its main inspiration, arguably the most well-known god in the Hindu pantheon, Ganesha, the elephant-headed god of new beginnings, wisdom, and luck. There was an absolute 0% chance I was not going to include some kind of reference to Ganesha in this region, and making it a legend seemed all too fitting for this region given how widespread this god is. Its type represents where all life began, water. Also, we have yet to see a water elephant Pokemon as of the making of this video, which is a damn shame given how synonymous elephants and water are. The fairy type comes in with its luck-based nature, as fairies and feyfolk are associated with luck in many European myths, with leprechauns being a prime example. Many of you may have questioned, why is that water pink? Well, it partly reflects the dawn, the pinkish-orange hue you see as the sun rises over the water. It also references shampoo, which was actually invented in India. Harasha's name, as with the other legends in this video, can be broken down into multiple parts. The Ha comes from the Hindi word for elephant, hati, the Ra comes from narangi, the Hindi word for orange, then the Sha obviously comes from Ganesha. On the other side of the coin, in Pokemon Jade, you would find Macugan to the south in the Temple of Endings, found between the cities of Vajrabad and Karbanapur, which are modeled after the runes of Hampi. This powerful peacock is the legendary Pokemon of Endings, and is based on Ganesha's brother, Kartikeya, a god of victory and war who is a lesser-known deity compared to Ganesha in the Hindu pantheon, but is better known by the Tamil people as Macugan. He is even widely regarded as the god of the Tamil people. Kartikeya is usually depicted riding upon his mount Paravani, who is a peacock. With the peacock being the national bird of India and it having this association with Kartikeya, it made complete sense for it to be a legendary. We also have yet to see a full-blown peacock Pokemon to this point, with the closest things we have currently being Quaquaval and Unpheasant. Masugan's name comes from Mayil, which means peacock in Tamil, Pasumai, which means green in Tamil, and Macugan. The reason it is pronounced Macugan and not Macugan is because it keeps that ah sound like Lisurga and Harasha. I just wanted to keep that consistency between the three. Macugan is obviously primary fire type, but its secondary type is fighting, to reference Marugan's role as a god of war, but it also ties into its fire typing. Though it may seem like an odd choice given its inspiration, there are actually a few reasons for its fire typing, with one being how Kartikeya, or in this instance his other name Skanda, was born. Putting it as simply as I can without getting this video demonetized, let's just say the god of fire, Agni, had a hand in the birthing process of Skanda, aka Kartikeya, delivering him into the river Ganges. The other reason for its fire typing I will actually be discussing later on. Before that, I wanted to discuss the trio master of these two, Lisurga, which you may have noticed looks fairly different stylistically from the other two. Well, that is due to the fact this is actually Lisurga's Spear Eyes form. Its base form will only be revealed in the conceptual DLC for these two games, which I will reveal more about at a later time. As far as this video goes, I will tell you that Lisurga is meant to reference Parvati, the goddess of power, motherhood, and devotion, and her incarnations as Kali, a goddess of time and death, as well as Durga, the goddess of strength and protection, who is known to ride a tiger, which is the national animal of India as well. This is where Lisurga gets parts of its name, coming from Huli, meaning tiger in the Karnataka language of Kannada, but is pronounced like lion, as in the lion that Parvati is sometimes known to ride. This mount is actually known as Dewan and can be a half-tiger, half-lion hybrid. It's pretty much Parvati's favorite animal. The Su comes from Nasu Gempu, which means pink or cerise in Kannada, and Durga. Parvati is the mother of both Ganesha and Kartikeya, and so Lisurga, as the story suggests, fills that role, balancing Harasha and Macugan's creative and destructive forces respectively. While we are on that subject, I know there are many out there currently questioning why I didn't make the Trimurti, Brahma, the god of creation, Shiva, god of destruction, and Vishnu, god of preservation, into the legends of this region. Well, if you were paying close attention, you may have noticed I actually already did. Harasha is the legendary Pokemon of beginnings, tied to the beginning of life, or the creation of life. Macugan, the legendary Pokemon of endings, tying to the end of the world, or the destruction of the world. And finally, Lisurga, the balance Pokemon, who preserves the balance between these two forces. It doesn't stop there either. As I said, water is where all life began on planet Earth. In Hinduism, Brahma is the creator of the universe, further tying it into Harasha's typing. The other part of Macugan's fire typing, which I mentioned earlier, comes from its partial Shiva inspiration, with Shiva's depiction as Nataraja, also known as the Lord of the Dance, performing the Tandava, a dance in which he destroys the entire universe with cosmic flame and ushers in a new universe. The closed arch of flames in this depiction reminded me heavily of the tail of a peacock being fanned out, which inspired Macugan. With the mounts of the Trimurti being a swan, an eagle or snake, and a cow, I personally thought it would be better to reference these gods more symbolically than literally, just for the sake of having a more diverse, representative, and in my opinion, interesting set of legends. This way we have 3 animals that are iconic to India, while combining themes of creation, destruction, beginnings, endings, how those all lead into each other, and a powerful mother just trying to balance and preserve her 2 powerful children. Another aspect of these Pokemon is that I tried to use a different Indian language for each. As there are so many languages in India, I really wanted to represent them here. In the case of Harasha and Macugan, their languages actually correspond to the cultures that majorly worship them, as well as where you can find them in-game, with Hindi being mostly spoken to the north and Tamil being mostly spoken to the south. And those are the main legendary Pokemon of the Devhar region. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.